You've got ideas, you've got ambition, you've got no time, or so you think. I'm Marisa and I help busy moms with big dreams and no time. Join me each week as I dive into time management strategies, goal setting and achieving framework, and inspiring guests who are juggling mom life, work life, fill in the blank life. Dreams don't work unless you do, and just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can't still make it happen, whatever it means to you. Welcome to the Mama Work It podcast. Hello, mamas, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Mama Work It podcast. Today, I've got Gladys Simen here, and I could not be more excited. Gladys is a life coach for moms who are trying to balance their work and family life. She is a life enthusiast who has lived in 5 different countries and mastered 2 languages. I love that. It took becoming a fabulous mama for her to tap into some big superpowers within herself. Superpowers like staying present in the moment, being courageous, and advocating for herself and others. Former quiet introvert, today Gladys is passionate about helping women live big, beautiful, shooting for the stars kind of lives right now. Not in 10 years, not when the kids are grown, not after that promotion finally comes around, right now. Gladys considers herself an advocate for the working mama. Oh, Gladys, I know we are going to have such a good conversation. We are so aligned in our messages and our missions. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
I am so excited to be on your podcast. Like I was sharing a little bit before, I've been stalking you on LinkedIn. I'm a big fan of your content. So, yes, I'm very humbled to be there today.
Amazing. Well, likewise, me too. I'm happy to be having this conversation with you. So, first things first, tell us a little bit more about your story. Like, what led you to become a life coach, especially for the working mom?
I wanted to say once upon a time because I have young kids, but no, I will spare you on that. But I feel like when I thought back on that question that been asked to me of me a lot of time, I feel like I've always been a coach. I've always been the person that friends, family, even strangers were coming to kind of unburden themselves a little bit because I was told I provide like a safe space for people to come and think things through. So I've always been that person. So, and then as I grew up older, it was something I was taking for granted. I have a tribe that start assembling and recommending word of mouth. And then I became a mom. And for me, I realized there was some unique challenges being a working mom that got added with motherhood. And I start thinking initially that lie that I'm alone in those struggles. And then I realized with time and experience that we're far from being alone. So I started wanting to be of service and say, what has the experience that my life have become right now, how can it benefit someone else because I have walked in those unique shoes of them. So hence why the coaching for working mom. I do have working dad in my coaching practice, but I have mainly mom because I can relate. I walk in their shoes, and I really not only can sympathize but also empathize with what it is to be a mom, a working mom in this world of ours today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that personal experience that a lot of coaches bring into their practice, it doesn't mean that we're trying to necessarily like impose our views on others, but we have that empathy. We've lived through that, or we're living through that. I often say like I'm in your shoes to my clients. I don't have like a
Completely.
whole staff walking around here helping me out. Like it's me. I'm the mama, I'm the entrepreneur. I was the corporate executive. Like I know what it's like.
So many
So
hats.
I totally think that is such valuable
Yeah.
support, such valuable just presence that you're able to bring to those conversations, and it helps people relate to you even more.
Definitely. And you're right on that conversation that we have with our client. It's not necessarily to say, hey, I know better than you. because I've learned a lot, interacting with my coaching client. I used to focus on mom guilt and thought, oh, that's only mom that experience guilt. But now with my dad, I have dad guilt as well. So it's real. There's an exchange here. It's not about me sharing my stories all the time, but it's mostly saying, because I walk in those shoes, I can guide you a little bit better toward where you want to be, and still learning, still sharing a lot of experience, but you know being able to say, I've accumulated that much, who
Right.
else can you benefit to? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
paying it
I
forward.
always say, and I've learned this from others too, is you want, when you hire a coach, you want to hire a coach who's about 5 steps ahead of you, not 25 steps ahead of you,
No,
not at the same exact level you're at, but just a little bit farther ahead so that they remember what it's like not that far away, like ago, not that long ago, to be in your shoes and to be in that journey. They're not disconnected from it, but they've made great progress of where you want to head. So
absolutely.
I
I
think that's a,
subscribe to that one.
yeah, yeah. Well, Gladys, I know you know this, but our audience is filled with ambitious women, women who want to thrive in their careers, who want to thrive in motherhood. So tell us some simple ways you have made this work for you.
So first of all, I am thrilled to hear that there's a lot of ambitious women out there. I think the world needs more ambitious coming from women. We tend to be those quiet little mice in the corner. But yeah, simple strategy. I would say my own experience. I will start with the most difficult one for me, and maybe some of you can relate. Recognizing that I need and accepting help was my number one strategy. You know, you said it yourself, Marisa. You wear multiple hats. You're the mom, you're the employee, you're entrepreneur, sister, friend. There's so many hats that you wear, and we wrongly feel like we need to be good at all the roles that we have in our lives. So I think for me, realizing that I can ask and receive help was really like a aha moment. And you can ask help from parent, family, partner, best friend, anyone that you trust, to give you that little time where you can just now do something else. So I believe in being present in what you're doing, either being present in working and being present with your family. So the multitasking thing, I'm not a fan, although I know some people are expert of on this. I'm just telling what works. So my number one strategy is recognizing I can't be good at everything. I can't be everything to everyone, but you have to use that energy and target the places you can be 100%. So ask and receive help. Even if help doesn't look like what you will do, just say, as long as, my kid is safe or my plate are clean or whatever you need help. It might not look like what you envision, but as long as you help, accept it. My second, the thing that worked in order of hard to easiest, know what you bring uniquely to every table that you come in. You have to know yourself. You have to understand that there are things. We talk about superpower in my coaching practice. Superpowers are not, hey, you can bring your cape and your your wand if you want. A superpower might be that you are someone that can see, that can organize things, project manage things very clearly. And as mother, and very biased, there's a lot of things that we get from being mothers. Like, you can handle difficult conversations. If anyone has a toddler and knows that the kind of question the toddler asks you, and you're like, I have said no 700 times, you can withstand pressure. You know, a kid that is crying, another kid that is like cutting something with scissors and having disaster with half of the hair shaved, like those kind of situation we have done. So you bring something to the table. You have to know and be clear every time you are bringing something to every single table that you invited with. And that took me a lot of time to have my, almost bragging sentence to say, hey, I do this very well, right? And then the last strategy I'm going to share, that was hard at the beginning, but it's easier now. Being unapologetic about carving time to recharge yourself. So I think if you do not take that time for yourself, you cannot go and radiate in all the other roles that you're fulfilling. You have to make sure that you're not running on empty battery every single day. So those are my three simple strategies. And for me, the hardest was to accept help, then knowing what I bring to every table, and then I recharge myself unapologetically every single day.
Yes, also necessary. Also necessary. Not easy for many working moms, but absolutely necessary in order to thrive in both of those areas of life. I completely agree. Let's talk about that concept, that second one, because I know in today's episode we're going to be talking about career leaps, career
Hmm.
growth. So a lot of women, I think, tend to downplay a lot of
Hmm.
their skill sets, right? Like you were mentioning that having challenging conversations. I think when I think of that with my toddler, I think of negotiation skills. We've got really good negotiation skills happening in this house. And I think I've actually led by example and created a little bit of a monster here too in their negotiation skills. But hey, I'm raising maybe a future attorney, so that's fine. Um, but yeah, like we tend to downplay a lot of these things, working well under pressure in stressful situations, when we are having a meltdown in the background, when we need to get on a Zoom call in 30 seconds and we really need a quiet house, or just
Yeah,
any of those things that can really make someone's blood pressure boil. And a lot of moms make that seem really effortless. Like, how many times have you been told, wow, you're just so calm, or you make it look so easy? I know I've been told that. Internally, I don't always feel that way, but damn, I guess I must have this aura I've really gotten good at practicing and being able to showcase on the outside, that maybe I do make it look easy. And that, my friends, is a skill set.
it
That is
is.
something that you should absolutely be thinking about. So maybe as you're listening, think about 5 things right now that you do on a daily basis that probably your 20-year-old, your 25-year-old self couldn't handle the way you do now. And really highlight that as one of those abilities to show up to the table with like your best foot forward. I'm not sure the words you use, Gladys, but like I really think that that's so crucial and important.
Absolutely. And those skills, motherhood brought some transferable skills that are absolutely valuable on the workspace. Like whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in a corporate world, they are skills that you are bringing to the table that no one else but you bring to that table. You have to start with that. This is a fact. It could be a combination of multiple skills that you create your own magic sauce to do project management plus handling difficult conversation plus dealing with someone that is completely annoying to deal with. Everybody hates at work, but you have a toddler that tried to start World War III at 7 a.m. in the morning. You know what? You can take on the world. There was a commercial that I've seen 2 weeks ago. It's an old one. What is it to be a mom? And they list the requirement. They didn't tell his mom, but it was just more like you have to stand up, you never sleep. The associate is up. The hours are, incredibly long, and the pay is zero. So I think those are the kind of things: pressure, ability to juggle multiple priority, negotiation, all those things. And like Marisa said, write those. I would cut the list to 3 things. 5 is hard because we tend to downplay ourselves. And it might be something you say, well, I can do that. I have a friend that bakes the most amazing cake. And for her, it's not a skill because it's something she does. And I was like, man, I can't bake anything. So even if it's something that you feel is trivial, write it down because this is why you are remarkable. So you have to start that list by I am remarkable because I can do X, Y, Z and end up by very well, right? So it's a little
I
challenge
love
I'm giving.
that. I love that. I am remarkable because, okay, action item, do that. P.S., I have seen that commercial. I know exactly what you're talking about. When I first saw it, I think I have twins now, they're 8. I think they were babies. And I just cried hysterically when I saw
Yeah,
that
same
because I was
here.
like, I mean, probably a little hormonal, but also because it's so true. It's so true. And like all the people they're interviewing in the commercial are like, what? This sounds like
Well,
the worst job ever. I don't want this job. Right. And yet all of us do it and we do it with love and we do it so well. Yeah.
exactly. So I was gonna say,
Yeah.
mom, the moms that are listening to us, you guys are fantastic. You can go and take on every challenge that they're throwing at you. You totally equipped for that.
Yeah. So, what if you're someone listening who is ready to grow at work, but you're feeling scared about either taking on more responsibility, putting yourself out there for the promotion, maybe because of the time commitment or the expectations you're thinking that come with that new role? What advice do you have for this listener?
It's articulated into two themes: mindset and circumstances, right? So you want to go to for a new challenge. It could be a new job, pay raise, promotion, do something different, like insert whatever apply to you. So circumstances, I'm starting with that one. Is it the right time? Does it fit around your lifestyle? What you want to achieve? I know that now my kids are a little bit older. I feel like I can do a little bit more things than when they were younger, because my own circumstances. I wanted to be a hands-on mom, right? I The part that I delegate, I didn't want to delegate that part, but I could delegate ironing and cooking and other things, but not that time. So now I feel a little bit more confident because they're a bit more independent, so I can do another challenge. So circumstance question around you: is it your core value? Is it aligned with that? Is it taken away from those core values? The second thing is the mindset. Mindset for me is more about that next stage. Is it your voice telling you is the next stage? Is it conditioned by what the environment, the society, your best friend telling you should do? There are people that I know that are perfectly comfortable doing what they do, and they're perfectly comfortable doing what they do for the rest of their life. And there are people that come and say, well, I want to be a, I don't know, a VP next. And is it really what you want to do? Is it aligned? And they're like, not really. I never even liked being a VP, right? So that mindset, is it your voice you're listening? And if it's something that you truly, truly want to do and you align and it fits with your circumstances, I'm just saying go for it. It's, you feel like, time constraint, maybe you don't know the role, the attribution. One of the best things that I've learned and discovered to do is go and talk to people, someone in that team, someone in that role. You make friends, no commitment, right? You just say, hey guys, I'm curious about this role. I initiated, I work myself. I call them friendship call every month. I go and ask my circle of friend, a friend that does something that interests me. Doesn't have to be a role. It could be a task. It could be, hey, I use this tool very well. And I say, who in your network do you know that use tool X very well? And then they say this person, and then you say, hey, I want to learn about this tool very well. And it led to incredible friendships and also incredible career advice, and then push me to different directions. But you have to really put yourself out there and say, I'm Gladys, I'm good at X, and I want to learn X. So let's say Excel. I don't like Excel, but I want to learn from Marisa how she does Excel very well, because she's the queen of Excel. So I put time on her calendar. I reach her LinkedIn or anywhere I can see someone told me, oh, I know her and she's very good at that. So you introduce yourself and call it a friendship call, 15 minutes. Nobody's going to turn your friendship call. But 15-minute power talk. And if you like each other more, you can put longer time to discuss different things. So I would say make friends in the teams or the role that you want to go next. You understand what the commitments are, what their experiences are, and then see if you align with your mindset and your circumstances. At worst, you will have someone that to talk to. At best, you will have a clear idea where you want to go next and what you need to do to reach that goal. So,
Amazing.
one word, go for it. If you're scared, do it anyway.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea of monthly kind of reaching out to someone new who
Hmm.
either is in a role or has a skill set that you're interested in learning about. By the way, I am not the queen of Excel, so do
Completely.
not reach out to me for Excel advice. I Google
Do not.
everything for
I
Excel.
Google too. Yes, it
But
was an
yeah.
example. It was not a code.
Something that came up for me when I was in this space of uh, being offered a really significant, great career leap job promotion when I was working in the corporate world was I let fear sort of navigate that decision for me initially. And
Mhm.
until I put myself in a place where I could kind of circumvent that, I wasn't allowing myself to even try anything new. And I think, the simple reminder if you are feeling fearful about making any sort of career leap, like if you are offered that promotion, if you are, potentially thinking about switching companies or maybe even going out on your own as an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
you know, think to yourself, nothing is permanent. That's what really helped me in that situation. Even when I left the corporate world, nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent. If it doesn't work out, you've solved many problems before, you'll solve this one too. So, just if you are someone who is kind of feeling stuck in that place, remind yourself of that because it's just so important and it's so true.
I was gonna say I had a quote somewhere. I'm just trying to look. It says, "The thing I love are bigger than the thing I fear," because I am also scared a lot when something is new. But I start to think, what is it that I love? It might be love doing. It might be the value. It might be my family. But they are way bigger than any fear that I will have. That also brought me some comfort. The things or people I love are greater than the things I fear, right? The other thing is like do baby step. You don't have to embrace all in. You don't have to go and apply. If you can go and say those friendship call I mentioned, start being friends with someone. You can talk to a stranger. You totally can do that. So you pick up, you go on LinkedIn, you talk to your circle of friends, start baby talk and baby step with other people and see what they say. And yes, one thing I want to say about fear is you have to acknowledge them. You have to embrace them. And one thing I do is write a list. I write those fears. What am I afraid of? And then I write the fact. This is the truth. This is the fact. This is my fear. This is the fact. And this exercise work a lot to reset my brain for me. So when I go to those friendship calls with someone that maybe I'm thinking of my next role, and I say, "What is it that you are afraid of?" And you realize that they actually have sometimes your fear aligned, but they still went and did that. And I'm curious about what was this deciding factor. So for me, mindset and circumstances are a deal. Every time I want to go into a new chapter, a new leap, a new something, I'm just going, am I in the right mindset? Then address my fears. Am I having the right circumstances?
Yeah. I love that quote. Can you say that quote one more time?
The things that I love are bigger than the things that I fear. And this is a quote that I had it somewhere and I can't find the paper. My kid probably has taken it somewhere. But every single time that I go, fear has that power of making you being like a deer caught in deadline. You're so afraid you can't think, you can't breathe. And that sentence come and reset it. The things that I love. What is it that you love? You know, what are you thinking of that new step? Is it to expand something? Is it to open yourself to new things? Those are things you love, and they will always be bigger than the things you fear.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that perspective. So, career leap, in my opinion, this can be, getting that promotion. It could be changing organizations. It could be going from employee to entrepreneur. And I know you've experienced both. I know I've experienced both. What's harder, in your opinion?
That's a hard question. You go and ask the hard questions. I mean, I wouldn't say. one is harder than the other one because each come with their own unique challenge. Again, if we circle back with what we have said, is the mindset, is the circumstances. Some people have made the jump from one place to the other, and it was the exact timing, perfect moment. And those challenges, if you think about it, when you have a different perspective, a different mindset, those challenges become lessons that you're learning. It's not discouraging, it's motivating you. And then when you start thinking challenge, it's almost funny to me because there are people that are solution oriented and there are people that are problem focused. Every time you hear them talk, you propose solutions, they're like, do we have anyone like that in our life? I think we can think of someone, right? That always say, but what if I break this? But what if this? But what if that? So there are people like that. And you start thinking, well, if I move them in a new environment, it's going to be a disaster because they're not in that right mindset for them to change. And there's nothing wrong with not changing. I want to make it clear. But for those that have the desire to change, I think depending on where your love, your mindset, where you lean, you will have challenge in either situation. But how you embrace that and carry on and always making those little steps. So I was talking about it to one of my clients actually 2 days ago. We were thinking when we go through this, she's moving to be a full-time entrepreneur. And she says, some days I'm sitting there and I don't see progress that I make. And I'm like, because we do on a day to day, in a new job, in a new role, in anything new, we just look at, accomplishing a task and a task and a task. But I'm like, from like, find a cadence, 1 week on, 2 days on, look how far you are going. As long as where you are is not where you start from, you're making progress. Find ways to motivate. So you might not be where you want to be, but you are not where you started from. So that's always progress. And it might not be measurable right now, it might not be this, but it is making you think differently, it making you address things differently, stand differently, look at things differently, breathe differently, hopefully not love differently. But you know what I'm saying? It's just about looking at it and say, well, I'm coming from point A. I'm not at B, but I'm A prime. So Gladys A prime is wiser than Gladys A, kind of thing. So find little joy in every task that you're doing. There's gonna be challenge. Accept it, embrace it. How are we looking at those challenges? What makes it difficult?
Oh, so well said, Gladys. Thank you for that. We're going to move on now to our lightning round, where I'm going to ask you some personal, just for fun type questions so our listeners can
Okay,
get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
okay, I am ready.
All right, good. Let's see. What book are you reading right now?
Oh, this is cool. And it might be boring. I'm gonna show it. It's called Hello Mom, and it's a collection of little drawing about the author experience to motherhood, and it's just little phase of being reminding me how my kids were little, and you start thinking, childhood is a universal, no matter, you know, how, the color, the race, the status, they're still children. And it's the same experience. This woman is a British woman, never met her, but I was turning page and say, oh, I remember this. I don't remember that. So I was just looking at it. It's a gift that someone gave me because I'm a walking mom coach. But it's talking about motherhood in a very real form. There's happiness, there's annoyingness, there's days where you're like, holy cow, where mom is the most beautiful word in the world, and then some days it's just the most hated word in the world. So just quickly say, she said, motherhood is mind blowing, breathtaking, eye popping, totally tiring, sometimes frightening, endless inspiring, unrelenting, metamorphosing, quite astonishing, mind numbing, soul shaking, impossibly exasperating, but heart expanding. And that's the book I'm reading right now. It's called Hello Mom by Polly Dunbar, and it's a fantastic book.
Oh, love that. Oh, that sounds like a good read for sure. All right. Let's say
That
they
was
made
easy.
moving on to something harder. All right. Let's say they made a movie about your life. Who would you want to play you?
My daughter.
Wow, what a great answer. I love that. How old are your kids?
8 and 5. So my daughter is the 5 year old. She's the mini diva. I mean, becoming a mom for me was, becoming the de facto role model for them. So it's not something I chose, but they see life through me. And the idea of what the world is through my eyes. So I feel like she'll be uniquely positioned to play me uh, in a movie about me.
That's a beautiful answer. I was recently asked this question on a podcast I
What would
guested
you have
on,
answered?
and I said Blake Lively.
I totally can see why.
I was like, I want to be leveled up. Make me beautiful. Put somebody gorgeous on there.
Okay, I have nothing against Blake, but you are way more beautiful than Blake
Oh my gosh,
Lively.
that is way too kind of you, but thank you.
Yeah, well, my daughter, I don't think there's no work that could be done to level me up. So maybe my daughter could do a little bit.
All right, let's say you could have one food for the rest of your life. Like you could only eat that food. What would it be?
This is hard. How do you find those questions? Um, it's hard for me because I'm not thriving on routine. So eating the same food for the rest of my life is the equivalent of killing myself right now because I just want to eat. I want surprise and things every day. Um, no calorie counting, right?
No calorie counting. All right. Well, I don't want to stress. I don't want to really stress you out. We can move on
I
to the
was
next
gonna
one.
say watermelon just because it's summer
Watermelon.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not the first person to say that.
and you can eat and drink at the same time because it's like filling
So
you up.
efficient.
Yeah,
So efficient.
I
Yeah.
was thinking of that.
A perfect working mom answer. I love
Yes.
it. What is something most people don't know about you?
That I am super shy.
I wouldn't
I
guess that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was so shy. When I was like 8 or 9, I was like frightened, public speaking, everything. My parent put me in theater to get me to be a little bit more open. And you read it in my intro. I said formerly quite introvert. I'm still introvert. I'm just a little bit more vocal, but I'm still very shy. I'm shy. That's what most people don't know about me.
All right. And finally, what is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Ooh. Right now is watching the Ozark. I know I'm late on the game because I'm not really a TV person, but everybody has watched Ozark, and that's what I'm watching now. And The Gray Man with Ryan Gosling, The Gray Man. But that's not a TV show. This is a movie.
Yeah, amazing. That's cool. I'm not that trendy with TV shows, so I get it. All right. Well, Gladys, this has been such a great conversation. I knew it would be. But before we head out, please tell our listeners where they can find you.
Okay, this is the part where you will learn a little bit about me. I have my website. It's called My Life Couch, not Coach Couch. So www.mylifecouch in one word, couch.com. Everybody asks me why my life couch because I see, every time you think of every household, there's one piece that is always there, always present, and that is a witness of moment that involve emotion. So it's a couch. So my coaching practice is your perfect couch, your perfect fabric, perfect size, and you come and unburden yourself, and I'm just the best friend jumping of joy for you on the couch. So my life couch is a place I'm in a process of redoing the website. So there's newer pictures, newer sections there. This is the if you have anything to go and look about my coaching practice and what I stand for, that's the blog, the website. I'm on LinkedIn where I post everything that goes through my head, my adventure as a working mom. Sometimes I talk about my mini diva and my perfect gentleman. But it's mainly thought that I go sometime weekly, sometime dailies as I come to my head. So on LinkedIn is Gladys Simen in one word, and you can find me on LinkedIn the same way you can find Marisa there. Great content that woman brings out. So, and the third medium is on Instagram, which being vulnerable and admit I have no idea what I'm doing there, but it's at my life couch on Instagram. And yeah, I put some thoughts. I have a community that I interact with, but those are the three main way to come and get a little bit more love from the life couch lifestyle.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today, Gladys. It has been so great chatting with you.
Oh, I mean, you made one of my dreams come true. So thank you so much, Marisa. And I can say she's as good in person that she is like her public persona. Sometimes you read things on LinkedIn like, but she's real, guys. So if you're a working mom and you need to share some experience, at least come on her podcast to share the magic. She's absolutely amazing. So thank you for having me today.
Thank you. I do strive to keep it real. So
Yes, you
thank you
do.
so
And
much.
then even your pictures are real, so it's not heavily edited. She's real.
This is
She's
me,
more she's
everyone.
more beautiful than Blake Lively people. So she's
Oh my
it.
gosh, that is really, really generously nice of you.
And Blake would not sue me. I hope not. Anyway, that was amazing having.
You've been listening to the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and would love if you could take a quick minute to leave me a review on whichever platform you're listening from, and maybe even send a note to a fellow mama friend recommending it. Reviews and recs help this podcast grow and reach more like-minded, awesome moms. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that button so we can stay in touch, girl. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Mama Work It website, please do. There are lots of free resources and great articles there that can help you with the juggle of work life, mom life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So head on over. Thanks again for being part of the tribe. I'll see you soon, but in the meantime, keep on working it, mama.